be the last president. And obviously I don't believe that, but with Trump saying that he wants to make Canada the 51st state. I'm just convinced for a future. And luckily, I do live in a Democratic state, so I should be unaffected, but I just have a lot of empathy for states who can't have safe reproductive care, among other things. So there's nothing that we can do at this point. Trump will be our president, and I can say that with confidence. I won't be around the bush. But I just think that we have to stay vigilant, and I just hope that his policies don't polarize or divide us. That's just my concern, but I wanted to hear your thoughts about what I just said.
Mr. Troy.
Yeah, thank you for that. And look, obviously, a lot of people have concerns, especially if you voted for the other candidate. They're worried about how things are going to play out. And but I would just say that this country, we have the rule of law. It's not easy to get things done. Think about President Obama when he comes in 2009 with bigger majorities in both houses of Congress. He got something, but he didn't get everything done, and that's just the way it is. You have a chance to get fast, and things not in terms of this. People have been appointed by Republicans, but those 6 people have very different views. Also, looking for the vast majority of cases, they decided overwhelmingly, whereas many even 9-0. So it's not like the Supreme Court is a one-party stamp on one party's approach to things. So the founders set up a complex system. Not even have law, don't have dictators. We still have elections every 2 years for Congress and 4 years for president. And I'm optimistic that the public will continue. I do have concerns. One of my biggest concerns is about the national debt, which is 35 trillion or so, and we don't really seem to have been taking to address it. I think that is the biggest fear we should have about the long-term stability and health of the land. I'm hoping that in the years ahead, Republicans and Democrats will take steps to address it, because it can't be done by one party. The amount is too great, and that's my number one concern.
That concern, how is it complicated by the fact that the president will have to face with his Congress right off the idea of spending for the federal? Absolutely,
it's one of the things that to address is not just spending levels, tax levels, also the debt ceiling. The Democrats are they've got their own desires and goals, and so it's not easy to do. But the fact is, the way we've been handling these issues for the last few years, the last few presidencies, in fact, is to just increase spending and kick the can down. At some point, we have to stop kicking that can and pick it up and figure out how to address these very difficult, very concerning issues.
Jonathan, in Virginia, Republicans Good morning. You're next up.
Morning. So my big question is, do you think Donald Trump is going to be trying to take revenge on Dr. Fauci and people who tried to lock him up, shoot him? I just want to see what is your
I mean, I don't think it's going to be revenge tour. I don't think you stated your opposition to President Trump, you're going to worry about or being indicated. But I think that if people violate the law, then there are problems, and that you're going to have to face the music if you violate the law. But they violated the law. You have legit medical disagreements with him. So I'm not expecting a revenge tour, and I really hope we don't see it, because I don't think that's the way to go about these things.
Democrats flying from Connecticut. This is Monica.
Good morning, everyone. I just think it's disrespectful. I feel that Trump should be having a presentation on Martin Luther King Day. I feel that this day is about freedom, justice, and peace. And there's no recollection to this day about justice for all peace and stuff. And I feel like this is like disrespectful. It's all about Trump today. And
point, and Mr. Troy, this idea of the inauguration taking place on this day of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yeah,
no, it's an interesting thing, and obviously it doesn't happen every inauguration. January 20th, Martin Luther King Day always happens on a Monday, so I figure there's a 50% chance that this happen. One out of days a week, but you just the election was moved to January 20th before we had the holiday, which I support, for Dr. King, and it's just kind of a coincidence of the calendar that this time happened to be on the same day. I wonder would the caller have the same concerns if the election had gone a different way and President Harris were being inaugurated today. So, is it a Donald Trump thing, or is it just a Dr. King's birthday or Dr. King's holiday coincide with the inauguration, and then we'd have to either move the inauguration or Dr. King's holiday, because they both take place in January, and that's what the way the system set up.
Mr. Troy, the president-elect will be sworn in today. He has 4 years in office, but how much time do you realistically have to have an when it comes to agenda?
Every president has his first days dates back to Franklin Roosevelt. So it's really a 200 days, first half a year is when you have your biggest legislative window. And after that, you end the kind of the first session of the new Congress. And the second session of the new Congress is more concerned about re-election, and so it's hard to get stuff done. And then after the midterms, often the sitting president is rebuked. So lose seats in Congress. President Trump can afford these seats in the House to be sure, because he's a very narrow majority. And so that the second half of the term, the other party in power, then you obviously have less ability to get things done. So really, this window, the first 4 or 5 months of the new administration, is the best legislative window for a new president. They have momentum. point results, and then that's the best time to get stuff.
How do you expect then a Republican controlled House and Senate to respond to that agenda and to help the president get that agenda moved?
Well, because of Senate filibuster, you can't pass things without 60 votes, and they don't have 60 Republican votes in the Senate. They use the reconciliation process. The reconciliation process is a budgetary maneuver, and have been using it more frequently in the last years because it's so hard to get bipartisan compromise. And they're looking at what reconciliation they have. The reconciliation gives a budget maneuver that lets you get things done with a bare majority in the Senate so that you can pass budgetary matters. And they're looking at taxes and border control. Reconciliation taxes have to be addressed because then the Trump tax cuts of 2017 are going to lap, and then we're going to have a big tax increase on the American people. And obviously, the border is perhaps the number one thing that Trump ran on. I think that is going to be what they're looking at. Other things, whether it's security or how to deal with China, all those things are going to have to take place in a bipartisan manner. That'll take longer. It probably won't be through the reconciliation process. And President will put his stamp on it, but we'll have less overall control of what happens.
C-SPAN's inauguration coverage continues with Tevi Troy, Ronald Reagan serves as their senior fellow, also a potential historian in Florida. Lon Shepard, hello.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. First off, I want to say I grew up as a welfare kid in the Bronx, in a family in Bronx neighborhood who people voted Democrat no matter what. I didn't even pay attention, they voted Democrat. In 1980, my mother even told me, and I quote, "If you vote for Reagan, don't bother coming home." But that said, all of the video to being directed towards Donald Trump, you know, people want to say I'm in a cult. I supported Donald Trump for the same reasons I supported Ross for the 90s. And I can honestly tell you, even conservative commentators, when Barack Obama was elected, they said that they would see him fail miserably. I didn't want to see Barack Obama fail. I wanted him to know that by 2012, the people would have been dancing in the streets. Now, the next one to go on is I've never been a fan of tariffs. However, it breaks my heart when just about every small appliance on the shelf says made in China. Furthermore, as a retired auto mechanic who still loves to do my own work, whenever I go to buy auto parts, including dealership parts, mind you, so-called original equipment parts, they are labeled made in China. We need to get China under control. The United States was once the manufacturing super juggernaut of the world. During World War II, we supplied many of the Allied nations with war equipment. Our industry has been decimated to the point we can't do that anymore.
Okay. That's to the first part of his comments, Mr. Troy. What does the president face, or the president-elect face, building a sense of unity amongst those who didn't vote for him?
Well, it's been interesting how President Trump has gotten his highest approval ratings. The election, people seem to be favorably towards the way he's handled position, and so he's getting to the extent of getting a bit of a honeymoon. There have even been some positive articles about some income Trump aides, which didn't really happen last time. So, that's I guess an opportunity to enter with your back, and that's a good thing.
In Texas, Democrats lying. Go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Troy. There's been a lot of talk about unity and kind of a lack of unity here over the past 30 minutes or so. I was curious if you could speak on the political polarization levels in the U.S., specifically in a historical context, and kind of what's being exaggerated, what's not being exaggerated.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think we see via social media the negativity and the disagreements are highlighted. But the majority of the American people just live.
Mr. Troy, let me put you on hold for a bit, only because we're seeing some activity coming out of Blair House when it comes to the president starting the process of leaving St. John's Church. Let's watch this for a bit. We're still watching Blair House to see the activity when it comes to there. Mr. Troy, sorry to have interrupted you. Go ahead.
So in terms of political polarization, look, the vast majority of American people just want to live their lives, be productive, have children, etc. And there are polls that show that 8% are kind of radical liberals in this country, and 6% are radical conservatives, and they don't like anything the other side does.
And I apologize again. Here's the Senator J.D. Vance, the Vice President-elect, entering St. John's Church. Mr. Troy, I apologize only for the poor nature of what we're doing to show people what's going on.
It's an exciting day in Washington, I get it, but 86% of the American people are not in the radical camps on either side, and again, they want to live lives, they root the presidents to do well, they want the country to do well, and like I was saying before, they also want the American economy to do well, have jobs here, and I think that's the hope for any president. When they come in, they're going to focus on that. We don't want to have wars. We don't want to have conflict. We just want to be able to